Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we have Miss Benjamin Franklin Gray, May 31st, 1978. This is in summer. Montrose, Colorado, 50 years old, 5'4" to 5'6", 165 to 180 pounds. He left his home, it says, with an acquaintance late in the day, and he never came back. Gray, partially gray hair, cut fairly short, waves and curls, some chest hair, sideburns, blue eyes, long finger on left hand did not bend due to an old injury. He had some healed broken bones from doing the rodeo when he was younger and was also a little bow-legged from that. Says he had a leather belt, green and white plaid cowboy shirt, blue jeans, black frame prescription eyeglasses, cowboy boots, heavy goldman's ring with a diamond. He left with an acquaintance in the acquaintance vehicle. And so there's a picture of him. And they go to the Charlie Project, and it has several pictures. And most of these pictures are on NamUs, but they're zoomed in better on the Charlie Project. So I just decided you could just see them here. He was born August 16th, 1927. And this says, and I don't know if this is accurate or true, but this is what it says. This says that he leased the top floor of a bar and cafe. I don't know how to pronounce some of these words. So he left the bar with acquaintance or the friend late in the evening, May 30th, even though this says May 31st. This says May 30th. And that they were going to his family's ranch in Gunnison County, Colorado. And then I tried to see how far away that is, but I don't know exactly where at in Gunnison County. And this doesn't. I think that's the city, not the county. Why does it do that? I don't know why it changes it. Oh, see, there's the city. So that even makes it further away. So I don't like that because I don't know. I don't know exactly where his ranch was. So anyway, um, it says they were going to lease some cattle. His friend or acquaintance claims that he took him back at 4 a.m. They left late in the day. How late in the day did they live? You're going to want to leave during daylight so you can see out if you're going to lease cattle, right? Even if it's an hour and a half, you're going to want to be there during daylight and get back. And if it's an hour and a half drive, that means it's 3 hours round trip. So let's say you left at 3 in the afternoon. You're going to be back by 7 p.m., right? 4 a.m. See, I get wild speculation when I read that. I think that, did they go to his ranch and spend the night there? Even though it's only an hour and a half drive, maybe they decided to spend the night and then come back in the morning. Why would you come back at 4 a.m.? If it's 4 a.m., you're going to have to leave at 2:30 in the morning to get back at 4 a.m. Why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense at all. It makes me wonder if something happened to him at that if they got there and something happened to him, and it's wild speculation, but if he did something to him, maybe he had to cover for his girlfriend or his wife, wherever he lived and got home, and the acquaintance didn't get home till 4 a.m. and was disposing of his body. It makes me wonder if he spent all night trying to figure out how to dispose of his body and didn't get back till 4 a.m. But that's just wild speculation because, I don't even know if this is accurate or true where they got the information from. And it says that he dropped him off at the bar and saw him go inside, but he never arrived in his rooms and he's never been heard from again. So He's got to say something. He's got to say something if he did something to him or if he was with him when something happened and he didn't and he was afraid to tell. He's got to either say that he dropped him off at his ranch and he was going to pick him up the next day, or that he brought him back, or that he saw him be with somebody else. But like I said, that's just wild speculation. But he'd have to come up with something. And I don't know if that person did something to him or not, but that's the only suspect I have that was mentioned. So automatically I think, oh, that's who did it, even though, because it's the only suspect I have. It says he left behind a wife and children. His friend or acquaintance who was with him that night was the last person to have seen him. Was questioned by the police and retained an attorney and didn't want to cooperate anymore. So how long was he questioned before he said, hey, I want an attorney? And then right there, that makes me feel like he's guilty too. Gray had many business ventures prior to his disappearance and may have made enemies as a result, but his loved ones stated he was generally well liked locally and he was deep in debt at the time he went missing, and his family later lost their ranch. So even if his friend or acquaintance was with him and something happened, he could have been too scared to come forward and tell anybody anything, right? There's that too. His checkbook was found on Blue Mesa, adjacent to his family's ranch. Adjacent, but how far? How far away on that? And was somebody dragging his body? Was it in his pocket? Why was it on the Blue Mesa? And this makes me wonder, did somebody cash a check? Who was the last person to cash a check on his account? Did they even check? I mean, could he have been riding around at one time and lost one of his checkbooks? But then it makes me wonder if it was in his pocket. What if it was in his pocket? What if it was in his pocket and somehow something happened to him and it ended up there? That would make me wonder, was his body going to be found on the Blue Mesa? And that's the only trace of him since he went missing. And what was the check numbers? What was the check numbers in that checkbook? And what were the numbers of the most recent checks that he had written? Was it a recent checkbook that he had on him? So there's no evidence of foul play, but they have never seen him again. He's never been heard from again. Doesn't that make you feel like there's foul play? And the Blue Mesa, when I typed it up, it pulled up the Blue Mesa Reservoir, and there's Gunnison. So it makes you feel like, so that's what came up when I typed up Blue Mesa was yeah. So there's a lake. It says Blue Mesa Reservoir is Colorado's largest lake. So if something happened to him, wouldn't that be a place to get rid of a body? I don't know, but it just seems like that, right? And here's Blue Mesa right here. Arrowhead Mountain Lodge. There's a lot of places there where you may not find somebody. So there's Montrose, and there's Blue Mesa, right? So his ranch probably was right in here somewhere. So how far of a drive was that really? It doesn't really look like it's that far of a drive. It really doesn't look like it's that far. So 20 miles is this far, and that's how far it is. Oh. So why don't I type in Blue Mesa? Except that's that part of Blue Mesa. So it's like an hour and 20 minutes. Depending on which part of it you... No, it's right here. I'm going to go with Wagner's Ranch. I'm going to pull up that one. And 780 Crest Drive, Cimarron, Colorado. I know that's crazy, but that's only like an hour away. So what if it was only an hour away? What if they only had to drive for an hour? Because it's by Blue Mesa. So they had to drive between an hour to an hour and a half. But they may have only had to drive an hour. So then it would have only been 2 hours gone. An hour there and an hour back. Why would he be back at 4 in the morning? If that's true and that's accurate. Why would anybody return at 4 in the morning? That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. So, yeah. All right. And yeah. All right, so I have some John Does. There was one John Doe found in 1886 in Chaffee County, Colorado. Partial skull fragment found near an abandoned mine shaft. And I'm not sure if it's male or female by the way they word it. Could have been a male or a female. And so I showed from where they left to where they were going to where the John Doe was found. And then there was another John Doe found in Clear Creek County, Colorado, estimated age 35 to 45 years old. And it says a human skull was found. Oh, this one says male. I thought this was also one of those that could have been male or female. White male, 2007, partial skeleton parts only. So it's a 5.5 hour drive. Walden, Colorado. This one was found in evidence storage. So I don't know where they actually found the skull, but it was in evidence storage in Walden, Colorado. And it says it could have been, estimated date of death could have been as far back as 1833. They have no idea how old the person was or anything. So then I just put a map so you could see that. And then there was, in Utah, there was a John Doe found in 1978. Remember, he went missing in May of 1978. This John Doe died in September of 1978. He was the same age as him. 5'5" in height. How tall was he? Was 5'5" about. So he's the same height, the same weight, and he had short gray hair. And it was the same year. It was like 4 months later. It talks about burn scar on right thigh, some tattoos, but it makes it sound like they had been to Lincoln, Nebraska, and maybe they were just, what do you call those people that ride the trains? I can't remember, like a hobo or something, but there's another word for it. Had a backpack, a bottle of lotion with the name Byron Ditton on it. So it makes it seem like his name was Byron Denton. A book of matches from County Still Liquor Store in Lincoln, Nebraska. A book of matches from Westgate Bank in Lincoln, Nebraska. An empty vodka bottle from Utah State Liquor Store. Prescription eyeglasses. So he did have eyeglasses. And so, but the eyeglasses were, oh, they were in a case from Wichita, Kansas. And I wondered, was it him and he was trying to get back? But I don't think so. I think it was somebody else. It just happened to be the same height, same weight, same age as him, and died the same year. Probably just somebody traveling by the train cars. I don't know, but it says that the sheriff had planned to send fingerprints taken from the body to the FBI. Did he not ever send them off? He said he was checking with a pair of glasses which bore the name Wichita, Kansas Optical Company and a name on the bottle of the hair lotion, both found near the body for a clue of the identity. The body was found September 20th by workers who were loading coal at the Banning station. The workers were checking the railroad cars for trash before loading them. The cars, which had only been there for about 15 minutes, had come from Grand Island, Nebraska through Salt Lake, Provo, and Helper. The body was sent to the Utah State Medical Examiner. Deputy Robertson said it had been there since it was found. So then I start wondering all these things. Did he come from Lincoln, Nebraska? So this John Doe is probably not him, but it was interesting. It was interesting that there was a John Doe that fit his description in Utah. And so you could see this is how far away that was. I don't think it would be him, but because I really would think that wherever his checkbook is, that something was up right there. And I also feel, Montana, I, I, I think they have a lot of bars in those little towns in Montana, and he lived over a bar. I'm thinking people drink and talk. I think that if somebody did something to him, that they've been drinking and talking over the years, and somebody probably has information. A few people probably have information. Even if it's hearsay, it's not like you're going to testify in a court of law. You should come forward and you should let authorities know what that hearsay was and what you heard if somebody was drinking and talking, so that the authorities will have that information too, and let them decide what's relevant and what's important, and just tell them, hey, this is what I heard. And I would email them so that you have it written out, so they can just print it off and put it, so they're not trying to take notes of what you're saying. His family, he's got a family, he's got loved ones. They've never been able to have a funeral. They've never even been able to scatter his ashes. They don't know what happened to him. They don't have closure, and they should be able to have that. So please don't forget to pray for his family and his loved ones, and feel free to leave comments, and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.